All right. What is up? I had to do a little bit of editing for the lights and everything, but got it. Doing good. All right. So, yeah, this year I wanted to really develop my own stuff because I love music and I hadn't I'm always like listening to music or whatever have to me takes that I want to get out. So, you know, this is just a weekly chat on music, man. So yeah, there'll be a couple of segments in this, but it's mostly kind of a free form thing because I'm just trying to honestly have fun with YouTube and not take myself so fucking seriously. Like I always worried about what people would think of me, so I never did it honestly on my own. But this year, I'm like, fuck it, let's do it, and I'm not getting monetized or anything, so let's see what happens in a year. Hopefully I can keep this up and I will keep this up. Manifest, I guess. And so yeah. There was a couple of things, and this is just music stuff that popped up, but I'm gonna give my own little quick take. I have no take on the whole Tory Meg thing, at least not in regards to, you know, m- my thoughts on it. I'm not a juror. um and my reaction is kind of more to the general audience. I was listening to and this is a sentiment that I saw come out after the guilty verdict, but especially after the videos, the audio and all of that stuff was released, all the evidence that was utilized was released. One of the things that I kind of noticed is that, and I heard this, I saw some comments of this, and then I was listening to Rory and Mal podcast, and sometimes sometimes their takes be kind of interesting, but one of the things that, especially with Rory, because he that buddy will pretend like, oh, I don't know, and then try to speak like as if he's has some different take, as if he's just not reading through Twitter threads or whatever. But one of the things that he said that I was just kind of like, no, you don't get to do that. And I saw this, it's not just him, it was the sentiment that I saw a lot of people do. And it was this: oh, I had the wrong take. I didn't, I got it misconstrued because, these blogs, man, these blogs did it. And it's like, people saying, "Oh, well, they didn't report the facts. They didn't. They never do." It's a blog. It's a celebrity. Just admit that you don't read. Now, here's the funny thing. Daily, there were two journalists who were reporting on it directly from the trial daily. So you would get glimpses and peaks of information, but you weren't going to get the full information out of, like, that's just not how it works. You know what I'm saying? And as much as motherfuckers want, like, the funny thing is, and this is a side note to everything, is like everything doesn't have evidence like how it does in SVU. Like everything doesn't have evidence like how it does on, Criminal Minds, where everything is just magically lining up and people are finishing each other's. Most crimes go unsolved. It's either really hard to solve the crime or they're so incredibly obvious that it's really pretty clear to solve that. Like, that's how a lot of crime works. So the fact that people were even trying to take snippets of, like, hearsay from people who are just making up shit who are not in the courtroom, that's your fault. If you took that as like real and going to fucking Hollywood Unlocked or the Shade Room. And the reason why I'm calling out Rory a little bit is because he always acts as if like, well, people don't know and people don't read and people, I mean, I'm not smart, but he tries to say I'm not smart as like his defense mechanism for when he's like, just in case he's not right. But it's like, no, dude, like that's technically all the way 100, and not just him, but a lot of people. That's on you. That is not on, like, and then because what happened is now people were trying to justify why they thought that the verdict was wrong. And it's like, dog, we don't have the evidence, and this is prior to it being released. It's like, but there was formidable, like, good reporting that happened, and you choose to go to the easiest source because you're lazy. Don't blame that on blogs, and don't try to say that, oh, well, mainstream media didn't pick it up because it's a black woman and rappers. We know that. If we've been through that, we already know that. So, like, stop trying to pretend like, oh, well, the media, we already knew. What did Trump say? The fake news, the bullshit media, corrupt. Like, yeah. So why are you sitting up there acting like your own like you just didn't get wrapped up in your own bullshit? Like, I saw so much projecting during that whole trial. That's what I really took away more than anything, is that people don't know how to separate. People do not know how to separate themselves from, they, like, people couldn't look at it objectively of like, yo, you know what, that's a fucked up situation that happened. And you know what she said, and he came out, and said that he shot her. She said that he shot her. I That's what's said. Let's wait until Totally got it. Let's wait until, you know, the verdict comes. But like that was just mine. Like all the other shit, like honestly, like when people were like, oh, we don't believe women, like, yeah, we know. We know that is not new. That is not new. And it's not. It's not. And what's funny, anyways, regardless of that, the bigger thing, because I can get lost in any tangent. But the bigger thing is this, is that to me, it was just very telling of how once the evidence came out that the jurors and attorneys and witnesses and all were privy to, now all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, well, all right, the guilty makes sense. Yeah, yeah. And honestly, if anybody had thought, like, I'm not even a know it. Trust me, I'm not a know-it-all. But all you had to do was like research what those charges meant, especially in California, and then you would have understood the case further. Like you wouldn't have even made up your mind based on any of that. But once again, people just want easy information, and to sit up there and blame blogs is bullshit. And I'm calling a lot of people out on that. You chose to take the easy route, and I'm tired of grown folks. A lot of people stopped reading after school. Some of them didn't even read in school. So, like, nah, that ain't on the blogs, fam. That's on you. That's on you, and that's a lot. That's a very toxic mentality, a very detrimental mentality that's happening. Whereas the acquiring of information is not really cared about at all. My gut instinct, my feeling, only my personal experiences, and who knows what trauma, what burdens that can hold on to, that can't be the all and only basis for thought. So that's my only takeaway. If people really wanted respectable journalism, follow and go find respectable journalists. Find journalists. Find, you know, not somebody that's just trying to to chase clout, And so, yeah, that's my whole thing about that. That is, reg- regardless of the case outcome or whatever, I just found that to be so, like, take responsibility, stand up and saying like, oh, I was just lazy, I didn't bother to look, and I just went with gossip. Like, come on, man. Like, come on. Like when you're on a gossip site, you know you're on a gossip site. Like gossip sites just report whatever bullshit that's trending, dog. Like it could be like it could be like, oh, did you see this dog licking his ass? And then the next post will be like sending prayers and angels to it's like every post is some wild ass shit. What made you think that that was like, oh, I need the absolute like it's just the salacious shit, you know? So and it was also funny because a lot of people pretend like they don't read blogs, but we found out that was a lie. We cleared a lot of y'all reading blogs. A lot of y'all, that's the only news y'all getting is through a blog. So yeah, don't that's on y'all. That's on y'all illiterate asses. Next. All right. Yeah, this is another Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone. Enough. I used to actually collect Rolling Stone magazines. I used to like be big into it. When I was younger, I loved music. I actually wanted, I wanted to be like a songwriter, you know, um, like an R&B songwriter and shit like that. And I actually did like had subscriptions to a bunch of magazines and shit like that. I'm gonna say this right here and right now. Rolling Stone is absolute garbage at this point. Rolling Stone is trying to survive. Like people up and like Rolling Stone is essentially a music troll at this point. Like that's really what it is. Do you think? Of course, I'm talking about the 200 greatest singers or best singers or whatever the fuck or iconics, whatever their thing. I didn't even bother to look at Rolling Stone is so irrelevant that we shouldn't even be looking at the list, y'all. We should not be looking at the list. There's no way that you can make a list of like singers, like the best, the ultimate singers. Like, there's not even like it's clearly what is annoying about Rolling Stone doing this is that this is the only way that they get anybody intrigued with Rolling Stone. Like Rolling Stone hasn't had an article, an investigative report that really cracked things open. They haven't really had nobody gives a fuck about oh, this artist is on the cover anymore. Artists just posted to their, to their Instagram or whatever. Rolling Stone has really fell off. Rolling Stone is the magazine version of MTV. You know, where this is Rolling Stones. We're only doing trashy reality TV phase, and they've been in that for about 10 years. Because the only time that we hear about Rolling Stone is when they make one of these lists, and they know damn well, like, oh well, you guys, we got to come up with something. Now, what's wild about that whole process to me is that they've been making these lists like this is what I want people to do. This is so funny that they did this. I was in a bookstore. I was shopping with my girlfriend where I went to the bookstore and we were near the magazine section in the bookstore and I looked at the magazines and for the magazines the same shit that was on the covers when I was like playing guitar, really into music, my teenage adolescent years was the same shit. And no lie, none of like once I saw it, I was like, it's all the same shit. Like they'll throw out their greatest singers list, the best guitarist of the best song of all time, the greatest albums of all, and it's just all of, and they just insert new artists here and there, but essentially it's like Beatles. They stopped putting Michael Jackson once people like was like, no, we're done with him. And then like they serious like they and like it's just like Their goal of staying relevant is purely to seep in with these stupid little lists. That's all they have now. That's when's the last time you gave a fuck about Rolling Stone? You haven't. You haven't. Like, who was the last artist to be on the cover of Rolling Stone that who was I'm actually gonna look that up. Rolling Stone covers 2022. Just to see. Who did they have on this? Let's see. They got Steph Curry. They got I don't know who them niggas is. They got Selena Gomez. Who the, who the fuck? Who the fuck? Jack Harlow. Oh yeah, they did. And Harry Steph Curry, Harry Styles, Jack Harlow, Mr. Beast, Meg The Stallion got on there. But honestly, like looking at this, nobody's checking for Rolling Stone like that. And it's kind of wild. What is Rolling Stone circulation? Let's look at this. And the only reason why I'm harping on this a little bit is because it's like go to a different format and become innovative with some new shit. Don't just sit up there and continue to make these half-ass lists that you know is just salacious bullshit so y'all can get some clicks or like nobody's gonna buy this magazine. Bruh, this is how I know. Yeah, research. This is what I'm talking about reading research. It says ask, what is the circulation of Rolling Stone magazine? Um and they're they're s- they're touting their circulation 60 million people every month. Their circulation, they're talking about readers. Their circulation is 1.4 million. 1.4 million. In 2009, G, they have not updated that number. I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at it right now. Their circulation circa 2009, 1.4 million. Now, that is a lot, especially for a magazine. That is actually a lot, and especially during 2009. Um, no lie, that is a lot. That circulation. That means every month that it gets printed, it's sending out 1.4 million. Here's the interesting thing about that circulation aspect, though. Like I said, it was in 2009, and I would presume that it has dropped significantly. And the only thing that has been saving Rolling Stone as of late, in just a scoon, and it's barely that, because even that investigative journalism that they used to have from Taibbi, who's kind of now on payroll, is and you if you don't know who's payroll, just go look it up. But if like was there like political journalism, and that's dropped significantly. So just kind of looking at it, I knew that Rolling Stone was over when, and I had a subscription for a very long time to Rolling Stone. When Rolling Stone went to the standard magazine style. And I was like, "Oh, it's over. It's over for them." Um, and that was distinct. I know it probably, cut down on cost because of size and everything, but yeah, Rolling Stone, I feel like they just throw this shit out here every once in a while to annoy people, piss people off, get people talking once again. Is it going to make people want to read Rolling Stone now? No. As a matter of fact, I think they're doing more to doing this type of shit is actually ruining their legacy. Nobody wants to work for really Rolling Stone and write for Rolling Stone, write music in that manner anymore. Why when you have stuff that you can do yourself? So I just thought I don't have an opinion. I didn't, like I said, I didn't look at the list. I don't care. I know what performers I think have amazing voices. I like their voices. I don't need an outdated magazine that is trying to stay relevant to tell me what that is. So yeah. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and get into this next thing, which is basically Taylor Swift's latest album. So little backstory. I don't listen to Taylor Swift. I don't. I don't know shit about Taylor Swift really. I just know she's known to date. Like they made such a big deal about her dating motherfuckers. Um, that number one, I think that was a lot of PR. I think on that helped her in the end, but I think I just thought that was weird that they just made such the biggest deal about it because she's a young white girl. Like, of course she's dating. Like, she was dating like the all American boys too. Like, it wasn't even like she was dating like, you know, when you seen like that couple, and you're like, how the fuck? Like, she was dating people that it was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, I get it, you know. Um, but so me being a music fan and not giving a fuck about her personal life, I don't care. I don't. It just seemed like she dated, and I honestly don't know who really. I know she date. I think she dated John Mayer. Did she date Buddy from One Direction? I think she had to snag one of them. She had to. She had to, because they was the boy band of that era that she was in. So she had to. She beat one of them for sure. Um and I'm not mad at it. All right. I don't know who else she dated, y'all. They honestly, I know the John Mayer thing, and then a bunch of white dudes that I felt like kind of all looked the same. Anyways, I I don't know who she dated, like straight up. But and so I was like, God, like she's had some cool little singles, like "Shake It Off" was a cute song or whatever. And then what else songs did she have? I don't know a lot of Taylor Swift. That's what I was trying to get to. Is I don't know shit about Taylor Swift like that. Like I don't know her music. Trying to think. I literally, I really don't know any of her music. I only knew "Shake It Off" because that was just such a like a phenomenon. Oh, she did that one song. Look what you made me do. That little song or what? Oh, that was bad. That was a cringy song. All right. Anyways, so those were my two examples. One cool pop hit, and then whatever that one song was. That "Look What You Made Me Do" song was. Now I was listening to NPR. I'm old. I'm an old head. You know, I enjoy my old headness. And I was listening to NPR. And they were like, "Oh, this new Taylor Swift album, blah 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 blah." If you don't, NPR has now. If you want to talk about good music writing, go read an NPR review. Swear to God, because if your album sucks, they will shred the shit out of you in the classiest way you will ever experience in your entire life, man. So this year we got great albums like Renaissance. We got albums like It's Almost Dry. I'm just naming the shit that I like. This yeah, Ramona Park Broke My Heart. I love that album. Harry Styles had a great pop album this year. Let me retract great. He had a solid good pop album this year. Um Carly Rae Jepsen had a good pop album this year. I'm not even a fan of her music. She was another one I decided to check out, and I was like, let's see how this is. And she's cute pop. Um, Whatever. So so checking out. So I decided to check out Taylor Swift because new album. People have been saying like, oh, people don't give her enough credit. She's actually a really good songwriter and all that. So I was like, cool. I don't care either way. I have really no skin in the game. I just love music. So let me finally check out Taylor Swift. And I checked out her latest album. Um Hold up. This is so fucked up. I don't even remember the name of her latest album. Was it the Evermore album? Oh, is it Midnight? Midnight. I think, right? Yes, Midnight. Um and I really so first off, let me say this. Uh I liked one song. I try not to be the person that's like, "Oh, this is just, like I truly will listen to your album fully through. Like I think that's fair to actually listen to it. Um, and sometimes it be some of y'all, bruh, just make a 10-song album already. But anyways, um, just so I decided to give her a chance. Check out Midnight. I was like, all right, I'm here for it. Great pop albums have been dropping this year. Let me stop saying great. Really good pop music has dropped this year. And I was like, so let me check out. I've never listened to a Taylor Swift album. So I finally did it. And I like the song Maroon. I really like that song. Um, and that was it. That and and Taylor Swift fans, I know they be bugging. They like the beehive. They'll be tripping or whatever. And mind you, I'm not. I don't believe in stan culture. I think that you miss out on a lot, and then it messes with your parasocial perspective when you're into stan culture. Um, but the album was not good to me. And I was having conversations with friends, and I listened to it genuine. Like I said, Maroon. If the album was more, I really like the song Maroon. I thought that was a dope song. Um, it just left. It felt really hollow, and I haven't listened to any of her other albums, so I might try the other two that were released during I think the pandemic. A lot of people were like, "Oh, you might like those since you didn't like this." And that's another thing with like fans, and I'm about to really get into this specifically, especially with Taylor Swift. Is like what's interesting is sometimes the reason why I gave this album a chance is because I was reading responses from some fans, and they were like, man, this album's not the best. And so when fans of an artist that I don't really listen to are like that, usually that's the album that I end up liking a lot. Is like the one where they're fans. Like I know I have a lot of friends who are Beyonce fans who are like, I'm Renaissance wasn't my thing. I was like, I loved that album. And at first I was like, oh man, you know, It's Almost Dry was good, but Daytona was better. And I was like, oh my God, I'll put It's Almost Dry way above Daytona for me. So I was like, oh, let me check it out since it's getting kind of mixed reviews. Because sometimes to me, that's like, um, that can be a really interesting listen, and sometimes those are the best albums to experience an artist you've never really listened to. So I listened to the album. I was like, a lot of this sounds like toxic um relationship bullshit. Um and I found it weird that Anti-Hero became like a poppin' song because it's weird for people to sit up there and acknowledge that they're on fuck shit, but just be okay. And granted, she's not saying that she's okay with it, but the way that people are reacting to that song, they make it sound as if it's so flippant. Like she like it's like a like like a like it's a non-issue, like it's cutesy, which is kind of weird to me because that that's weird to me. Like that's that mentality. And it's like her and like Taylor Swift and Drake fans, like they if those two artists didn't make quotes that like make albums, their fans wouldn't have quotes to live by. I swear like their lyrics are gonna be like in 20 years, Taylor Swift and Drake lyrics are gonna be like the eat, pray, love type of bullshit that we had like 10 years ago. Like I swear to God, like these little weird fucked up affirmation bullshits. I feel like that's what those two will eventually be. Like, um, but so I should say so. So went and listened to the album, and I gotta say, um, sonically, some cool stuff. Like some of the production is all right. Um, but lyrically, man, did I felt like that just absolutely dropped the ball. And so because it felt like once again, it felt very hollow, but it also felt like I was listening to like an adult Blues Clues. And so I was talking to some friends about the album and they were like, "Oh my god, I love it. It's such a great album." I'm like, "All right." It's like I didn't get it. I didn't like it. Like, and I was telling them, well, I was like, um, what is the name of that damn song? There's one specific song that I absolutely thought was. I'm sorry, I'm unprepared right now. This won't happen again, y'all. I swear. Damn it. Let me find that shit. Hold on. Oh, it was the vigilante shit. Yeah, vigilante shit. And that was the song that vigilante shit and karma were the two songs that I was like, what the actual fuck? Like, don't ever bring up her songwriting ever again with those songs. And some people, and this is what my friend said that about the album. A lot of my friends and everybody, every single person that I talked to about this album was telling me like, "Oh well, see, that's the reason why you don't get it because that song is about her relationship with insert dude name from blah 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 year." How the fuck am I supposed to know that, G? How the fuck am I supposed to know? How am I supposed to have a fucking chart up on the board and do like zigzags and crosses and post-it notes and pins to figure out the meaning of a song and the allusions and the that shit is dumb. And it's dumb for the listener that has no clue about her personal life. Because sometimes I'm just like, I just want to hear cool music, you know. But what's kind of wild is that her fans eat that shit up. Her fans do not care. They're like, yes, we like adult blues clues. We like all the little breadcrumbs. And it's just like, dude, just just make a really good love song or angry song or whatever. But like, why does it have to be this whole thing? If I got to remember information about your fucking life, like, dog, I got bills to pay. I do not care about Taylor Swift like that. So, and so the lyrics to Vigilante shit, and we actually went through this on, um if you don't know, I got a podcast called The Happy Corner. Go check that out. Make sure you subscribe to the Happy Corner podcast on YouTube. She says, draw the cat eye sharp enough to kill a man. You did some bad things, but I'm the worst of them. Sometimes I wonder which one will be your last lie. They say looks can kill, and I might try. I don't dress for women. I don't dress for men. Lately, I've been dressing for revenge. I've been dressing for revenge. I don't dress for women. I don't dress for men. I've been dressing for revenge. I've literally said, no bullshit, y'all. I literally said, what the absolute fuck is she talking about? This is the great writer that, so let me, and then people like, well, it's a, you know, metaphor. It's no, this is some petty ass shit. She continues, I don't start it, but I can tell you how it ends. Don't get sad, get even. And it's all these lame ass platitudes that are just so common and annoying. I don't dress for I so on the weekends I don't dress for friends. Like, I've been dressing for revenge. She needed cold hard proof, so I gave her some. She had the envelope. Where you think she got it from? Now she gets the house, gets the kids, gets the pride. Picture me thick as thieves with your ex-wife, and she looks so pretty driving in your Benz. Lately, she's been dressing for revenge. Bro, why are you up in these people's relationship like that, G? why are you why are you up in these people's, like, this song just turned me off. There's so much toxic shit. And now I know why her and Future did that song together. Yes, her and Future have a song together. Um, and so yeah, that is, I tried Taylor Swift. I will give y'all an update. I'll try to listen to like one of the previous albums, not that one, because a lot of people's like, oh, that's not the one you want to start with, yada yada yada. I I'll try another one. Which one? Hey, tell me, which Taylor Swift album should I listen to? If I didn't like Midnight, okay? If I didn't like Midnight, tell me the album where there's not this bullshit ass, like, you know, you know, lyricism that she's giving. Tell me, what album do you feel like, oh no, like, all right, that was kind of bunk, but check this out. Give me a recommendation, because I'm not sold. I'm not sold. Gee, Shake It Off is better than this. Like, I'll put that one song against the whole album. This is a terrible, like, it's not even bad. It's just clearly, clearly a gimmick, you know? It's just clearly, and it's something that, like, her fans have come, I guess, to expect from her, but to me, it's become almost one note. Like, it's become, you know, I don't know. It's unimaginative. She sounded, you know what? She sounded so fucking bored on this album. She sounded bored. Like, that's like, there was nothing, like, no matter how a tempo, no matter how much she said she was winning or revenge, or how, she's feeling good because the tables have turned, her life is going good. I didn't believe any of that shit. It didn't sound like it. Like, she sounds bored. Like, all that production and shit, it was like they was like, fuck, fuck lyrically, fuck it. Fuck it. Like it is a very, very underwritten album. And I'm not sure why they based this off, like they based the whole kind of rollout on is like, oh, it's this deep and it's the lyrics and I was like, all right, you know, was expecting Joni Mitchell or some shit, and I walked out with like Paul Abdul that can't dance, but yeah. So, all right, this is it. This is my last little segment. Um, like these just like weekly fun music things. Um, this fun little music thing. That I kind of been toying around with is, and this kind of ties into the whole Taylor Swift that I was talking about earlier. But the I it, when you are an artist that has been an artist for a long time, you've been touring, you have multiple albums under your belt, everything like that. Um, One of the things that I kind of noticed is that you eventually have a bad album, and so something fun I like to kind of do is kind of take apart, not take apart, but like kind of look at bad albums. And this album, it wouldn't have been bad if it was like 2009, 2010. This probably would have been a pretty solid album. Now, not so much. The band RHCP, Red Hot Chili Peppers, the album, The Dream Canteen. I absolutely despise this album, and I liked One Hot Minute. I liked By the Way. I have been a Red Hot Chili Peppers fan for a long, long, long time, through fucking guitars changes, through drug addiction. I have been listening to them and in love with Red Hot Chili Peppers music since literally I was a kid watching MTV and seeing the Under the Bridge video. And I remember like it was so like I don't know what it was, but me and my stepbrother, we were so captivated by that video. And then like for the rest of the week we were just singing that song. Like we were singing Under the Bridge, and I remember just being like, "Oh man, they're so dope." And my older brother, was like, "Oh yeah, wow, they the dudes that just show up with socks on their dicks and all this other stuff." So I listened to them like for a long, long time, and I have literally up until the Dream Canteen, I have every album, everything that, and I'm mad, and actually some of them are actually still in California. I even have like overseas shit, like shit that if you haven't seen the um haven't listened to their live shit, fire. Like get their Australia, Japanese, UK stuff from Brazil, like they do awesome show. Like get their live shit because their live shit is really, really good. They jam out the songs. John Frusciante is the reason why I play guitar. Like he's one of the many reasons why I play guitar, but my guitar style is very much influenced by John Frusciante. Like easy. Easy. There's like there's songs that I've written in that vein of like musically, just trying to emulate and figure out his playing style. Like he's, no shade to Fru, no shade to Flea, no shade to Anthony Kiedis, who's I think um their latest album that just dropped. he saved that album. And you don't get to say that about Red Hot Chili Peppers album too frequently. But Anthony Kiedis saved that album. His lyrics, he slid on a lot of My Cigarette on that last album, fire. Don't care what nobody say. He slid, he walked on that fucking song, man. However, the Dream Canteen, man, was I want to make sure I get the name of uh, the most recent their most recent album. That's how fucked up it is. I would know the it's Return of the Dream Canteen. Oh, that's really creative. And this tour looks like it's gonna be fire. No lie, no lie. Um, and I love the imagery for it. I love the feel of the. I get what they were trying to do. However, those songs are absolutely terrible on the Dream Canteen one. I it everybody was excited because John Frusciante was back, and I think that actually that ended up hindering how good of an album it could have been. I think that Josh Klinghoffer took the band further, um, musically and sonically. And honestly, I feel like he honestly really kept he did what John Frusciante was trying to do. He was able to. Oh, no, no, no. I fucked up. I fucked up on that album. It's not the Dream Canteen. Return of the Dream Canteen is the most recent album. My bad. I'm tweaking super hard. Unlimited Love is the one that I'm like, that's the one. That is a terrible the Return of the Dream Canteen has some cool songs on there. Not my favorite one, but it was nowhere near as bad as Unlimited Love. Unlimited Love sounded like a band trying to sound like Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I think a lot of that has to do with having John Frusciante back. Everybody was happy about it. Like I said, I miss Josh Klinghoffer. I think that the course with John Frusciante had ran. I felt like he was, and he, to me, as much as I love him as a guitarist, seems like kind of a dick sometimes. Um, and he's all he's ever known as being a guitarist. He's been famous and a guitarist since he was 19, 18. Like, you're not going to have a clear perspective on life, work, a lot of things when you've been that famous for that long in a successful rock band at 19. That's going to get to anybody. Nonetheless, he's kind of a dick. Um, and I just think that Klinghoffer um, provided movement and provided a concise feel to songs, and I think it was a nice juxtaposition to the wandering of Anthony's lyrics. And Flea is so agile on the bass that, like, he can fit in anywhere, and I think that those two played well with each other. Um, and I think musically, I think everybody edged got way, way better. Got way, way better. So, like, I'm just so yeah, so and a fucking phone call. Um so he's um fuck. What was I talking about? Yeah, so the meshing of Red Hot Chili Peppers and their sound and the growth of their sound was really dope to hear. And I think that both of them, Josh and John, are two brilliantly musical beings. John Frusciante really only knows how to play a certain style with Chili Peppers. And I think that it has a lot to do, and people are gonna be like, "No, he doesn't." Eh, Chili Peppers encompasses a lot of different styles, but very interestingly enough, I think that you'll get better John Frusciante music outside of Red Hot Chili Peppers, and you'll get better Red Hot Chili Peppers music with a different guitarist at this point. And it's not because like they've gone bad or anything like that. I think it's more um there's a fit and a comfort level. And I think that having that new piece of Josh forced them to step out their comfort zones. And one of the things that I also noticed during the time with wait, hold up. I just noticed something and I want to see if mm, the fuck. Trying to find the sorry, once again, I'm unprepared. Gotta look up who fucking produced because I'm pretty sure that's all. The producer also plays a role too, in this. And for me, let me see. Oh shit, where am I at? Oh, under singles. Like sorry, I'm gonna have to edit all this bullshit out. Whatever. But what the fuck? Where the fuck is? There it is. Danger Mouse. Okay, I wasn't tripping. Danger Mouse did produce. I just wanted to make sure. Did produce the Getaway, which was to me, I'm with you. Is an album you can tell somebody's trying to gather their legs with the band. Um, and did he do? Yeah, Rick Rubin did. I'm with you. Um, which I thought was I thought that was a solid album, especially for having a new guitarist. I thought that was a good album, but um like it was solid. It has some good songs on there, and I think that Josh filled in nicely and really was able to get his footing playing um with them live like that. But as far as that album, G, like the the Getaway, top to bottom, probably to me, that and By the Way within the past like 20 years have been their best albums. Um, you had the double album, which was a little bit bloated. You had, like I said, I'm With You, which was with, and this is is what And this is when I say the comfort level where they slide into their spots and they just kind of do the same thing type of thing. There was no the reason why I like the getaway is because there's very focused production on each member. Um, Rick Rubin is really lazy with them, has become a lazy producer, in my opinion. A lot of the stuff that he has produced within the last 15 years has probably, to me, been really lackluster, really unimaginative. He doesn't challenge artists. I don't think he gets the best out of artists anymore. I think that I think he's just a chill ass, cool ass dude that is fucking iconic and legendary. I just don't think that his production has his producing hasn't lent itself to creating better products for the artists. I think his vibe creates comfort for the artists, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're getting better. And I think that's what happened with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, especially with the Dream Canteen. I mean, Unlimited Love. I think that I'm just trying to erase that fucking album. I keep not even trying to remember the name, but it just felt like they went back to, you know, like Unlimited Love and the Dream Canteen essentially sound like C-sides, D-sides almost to like their, you know, um, shit, probably their Stadium Arcadium era. Like that's what a lot of those songs they sound rehashed, they sound low key kind of dated. Like they sound like a shell of themselves. Um and to me, Unlimited Love is their worst album. Uh that's just how I view it. I know a lot of people are like, no, like, no, how could you say that? It's got to be One Hot Minute. Nope. One Hot Minute, honestly, it was experimental. They tried things. They allowed their new guitarists to kind of explore his sound, and I actually think Dave Navarro is a great guitarist. So, um, and they played really good together. Their live shows during that time were pretty good. From the videos I saw of it. And then the other thing is percussively, the rhythm section on that album is so good. It's so tight, so good. Um, and I could honestly go through every album and kind of give you Californication when John Frusciante came back. His playing was up to par, ended up turning into a benefit for him because him being minimalist on that album gave room for the drums for Anthony. For it gave breathing room and allowed him to figure out how to do a lot with very little because he just hadn't played a lot. Um, by the way, the great pop album, when they tried to when Anthony Kiedis talked about how that was supposed to be pop, people didn't like it. I thought it was great. They moved in a different direction, kept their essence, had great sound. Anthony Kiedis got more confidence as a vocalist. Stadium Arcadium, everybody went balls to the wall, gave absolutely everything. Big sound, big energy, thoughtful lyrics, intricate and interesting rhythms and time measurements and stuff like that. Um, Sonically mixed terribly, terribly, terrible mixing on that fucking album. I don't know who did that shit, but you don't need to. I don't know what happened there. Um, but that's also an album where I thought that it needed more producing. And once again, that goes back to like Rick Rubin, just to me not being, people didn't like I'm With You. I thought that was a good album. I honestly think sonically that was a good album. I think lyrically, hit or miss. Sometimes there, sometimes not. But that's Anthony Kiedis. You get used to that. Um, but I also thought that the the rhythms that they gave him a lot on that album allowed him to play a little bit more vocally. So that was cool. Uh, and then if you go back to, I mean, you got One Hot Minute, um, which is not One Hot Minute, Blood Sugar Sex Magic, which is the iconic legendary album. I don't need to tell you shit about that one. I think that Rick Rubin thought he had unlocked the key to their success, which worked for that album, and um it worked for Californication. But if you look at both of those albums, it was the first time that Rick Rubin worked with Red Hot Chili Peppers on the blood sugar site BSSM. I'm not gonna say that every time. BSSM, and then um when when Frusciante came back, that style of how they did those albums worked because both it's like a new restart again. Um didn't really happen for Unlimited Love. Uh, but like I said, I think Rick Rubin's a legend. I just think that like his insight to that band has kind of ran its course. I would like to see them do an album with Danger Mouse again with John Frusciante, and let's see how that turns out. And I think Danger Mouse did a lot to help Anthony write with intention a lot better. So, and then if you go back to their earlier, Mother's Milk, um, their self-titled album, Red Hot Chili Peppers have like it's astounding that the band with with socks on their dicks has this withstanding long history, but they're incredibly talented. One of my favorite bands. I just think Unlimited Love is probably, one of their worst albums, and that's saying a lot. Even I liked Freaky Styley, Uplift, Mofo Party Plan. Uplift Mofo Party Plan is straight up. If you want to play some Tony Hawk, put that shit on the background. Like that's what that is. It's such a fun, dope album if you're into like that type of sloppy pop funk type shit from the 80s. It's a really good album actually. Um, and then yeah, Mother's Milk. Um, and those previous albums had Hillel Slovak as the guitarist. And listen, I'm such a huge fan. I could tell you this shit without. Um, I ain't got to research. The only thing I had to research is really who was the producer for their latest shit. It wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't their older shit. But yeah. Yeah, I want to see the Dream Canteen. To me, was the return to the Dream Canteen is a step in to me in a okay direction. It still feels kind of rehashed type stuff, but it was a little bit more palatable than Unlimited Love. Unlimited Love is garbage. Like they should not. I don't think they need to really. I don't think they need to revisit any songs off that. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. But this has been that's basically it. I just ramble about like an album that I think is bad from one of my favorite artists. Um and this week it just so happens to be Red Hot Chili Peppers. Because I'm a huge fan, and that album really upset me. I was so excited that they were back, and then that's what we got. So I'll be doing it, and that's just stuff that I personally like. I can just talk about it. That's the reason why I chose artists that I actually like. Next time it'll be Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson has like two bad albums that like are whew, bombs, baby. So so yeah, that is bad album favorite artist review. Make sure y'all follow me on Instagram at K Marion Comedy. Make sure y'all follow the Happy Corner podcast on YouTube or follow us on Twitch. Subscribe on Twitch. Check us out and all that great stuff. I'll holler at y'all later. I'm gonna keep this shit up. Please like, share, all that good stuff. Bye.